Welcome into Patriots Today by Chat Sports. New England falls to Buffalo 27-21 in Week 17 of the 2023 NFL season. Patriots battled, they fought, they were very competitive, and quite frankly, this game could have been won had they played a little cleaner. We'll talk about this one a little bit later on in the show, but Rolly, I think we should focus on the draft, where the Patriots sit in the NFL draft right now, and they're neck and neck with Washington for that number 2 pick, because with Arizona winning, they're not really a factor if they're tied with Washington and New England due to their strength of schedule. The Commanders and Patriots, as these afternoon games are starting to wind down here, actually have the exact same strength of schedule. And for whatever reason, I guess the next tiebreaker favors Washington here, but it's a very fluid situation.
The exact reason is because, if you go down, I don't know how far down the decimal rabbit hole
more
they
decimal
go.
points. Yeah.
If they go down 4, 5, whatever, Washington holds the advantage. But if you look at the normal strength of schedule where it's just 3 decimals, it's tied at 5-1-5 each. Now, that is going to change. Not for Washington. They are almost locked into 5-1-5, at least through the 4 p.m. window. As we're currently filming this, the Bengals lead the Chiefs, and I believe the Steelers lead the Seahawks.
Yes.
If the Seahawks and Bengals both won, meaning the Chiefs and Steelers lose, that would put New England in the 2 spot because that would lessen their strength of schedule. So the draft order is definitely going to be something that we look at the entire week leading up to these Week 18 games. It's going to be a massive week when it comes to draft talk. But this was a good day if you're on Team Tank because you jumped from 4 to 3, and that was not going to happen unless the Cardinals finished with the same record as you, and they ended up beating the Eagles today. They finished with the Eagles and Seahawks. Didn't expect them to win one, but they got one on the road against Philly.
Today was kind of a perfect recipe, Rolly. Competitive enough to make Buffalo sweat, but for the long-term purpose of this franchise, losing was still probably the better outcome. And with Arizona winning, I mean, a really good day in terms of the tank standings for New England. So now it's simple. If they lose next week, they're locked into the 2 or 3 spot. Can't get to number 1. Chicago clinched that with Carolina losing today. But as long as New England loses next week, they are locked in with either the number 2 or the number 3 pick in the NFL draft. And it'll be interesting if it is 3, which I'll tell you why in just a second. But hit that subscribe button because Rolly and I have you covered on the latest Patriots news, rumors, draft coverage. It's going to be a busy offseason with this team. Obviously, one more game to go. We'll get you ready for Patriots Jets next week as well. Hit that sub button. We got you covered for all of it. But it's going to be interesting, assuming the Patriots do lose next week, which is a big assumption. The Jets are not playing good football. But let's just say they lose. If they do get that number 3 spot, Rolly, and I do want to bring you back in for this discussion, it's going to be interesting to see what happens because I think Washington has reached a point. Now, obviously, they're going to have a new coaching staff, et cetera, but I think they are going to look to upgrade from Sam Howell. There's already a report out there they really like Caleb Williams. So if you're stuck behind Chicago and Washington and the Bears decide to draft a quarterback too, the Patriots could be SOL when it comes to the top 2 QB prospects. Now, the good news is they could just draft Marvin Harrison Jr. If they really like Jaden Daniels, they could take him as well. But it's going to be interesting because a month ago, I don't think people viewed Washington, A, to be in this position because they've now lost 7 in a row, and B, be a team that, they're probably going to draft a quarterback.
Yeah, I'm kind of at peace with it, and I've said this, and I think that you and I both agree here where as long as you finish in the top 3, you're going to be fine. And I know I've been one of the biggest leaders of Patriots need Drake May because I just love Drake, or Caleb in all honesty. But as long as they're able to snag one of the 2 top quarterbacks or Marvin Harrison Jr., I will be happy. MHJ is a generational type prospect when it comes to wide receiver. I know the word generational gets thrown out maybe a little too much, and I'm maybe someone who throws that word around too much as well, but he is really that type of dude that can change your offense right away.
He's the best player in this draft.
So even if you end up going a veteran route or a second-round quarterback route this draft, if you walk away with MHJ, your team is getting significantly better. Yes, do I think the upside and ability of Drake May and Caleb Williams to take you to a Super Bowl is higher than if you draft Marvin Harrison Jr.? Absolutely. But if you finish top 3, you're getting one of those 3, and that is the biggest thing in my opinion.
And look, not to just talk about every scenario possible, if you draft Marvin Harrison, maybe you take a quarterback on day 2. Maybe you sign Russell Wilson to like a 2-year deal. I know it's not like the sexiest thing. I know Russell Wilson, comes with some drama and baggage, but he honestly played fairly well this year. He played like a top 15 quarterback, so maybe he's a duct tape guy for a year or 2 and at least has you at a competitive level. Marvin Harrison is here. Maybe you draft a quarterback on day 2. That's certainly an option. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. I will say this, and Rolly said this before this game, like, hey, I'd love to knock out Buffalo, but now that the Patriots have lost this game, it sucks in the moment, but you got to cheer for the Jets next week. Like, just suck it up for 60 minutes. Go Jets. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, Rolly, there's a scenario they could fall to 7 technically.
Correct.
Still, because that Chargers strength of schedule is still somewhat in range for where the Patriots is.
No, yeah. So let us know, are you rooting for a loss this week, yes or no? But you look at some important Week 18 games, and the icon next to the game is the one that you'd want to win. If you're rooting for the Patriots to get a higher draft pick. The Patriots haven't lost to the Jets in 8 years. So could the Jets finally end that streak? Who knows? They're coming into Foxborough. Obviously, the Titans, they're sitting there with 5 wins. And obviously, there's different scenarios. If the Patriots lose, then it comes pretty simple. You root for the Patriots to lose, and if they do lose, all you want to happen is the Commanders beat the Cowboys at home. Yeah. Probably not going to happen either because they're playing for a division title. But, hey, if the Commanders are able to pull off the upset and you lose, you're guaranteed the number 2 pick. Now, hypothetically, if the Patriots were to win, you want the Titans to beat the Jaguars because if they lose to Jacksonville, their strength of schedule is in that same ballpark as yours. You could get jumped by Tennessee. Yep. Same thing with the Giants. Cardinals, obviously, if they lose to Seattle and you win, you jump behind them in the standings anyway. These 5 are the biggest games, in my opinion, leading up to this week, and there is no way you can fall lower than 7, as I'm trying to say there. That is the lowest you can fall. We came into the week not being able to go past 9. Now with a loss, it's up to 7. So even with the Patriots winning, if everything went against New England, they'd be picking no worse than 7. But obviously the goal is to be picking number 2. So go Jets and go Commanders this week. And honestly, you might not have to even have a Commanders loss, if we're going to be honest.
Yeah, the strength of schedule could line up.
It could line up. So as bad as it sounds, as horrible as it is, I'm a Jets fan this week. I'm a Jets fan.
It's tough in the moment, but for the long-term health of this franchise, picking at 2 or 3 versus 5, 6, or 7 could be a vital difference moving forward. Okay, Daily Fantasy made easy with Prize Picks, the best DFS app out there. Can be downloaded at prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use the code CLNS to get a deposit match up to $100. How about the college football playoff tomorrow? Michael Penix Jr., we're going to take the less on passing yards against Texas. Jalen Milroe, more on his passing yards. I'm surprised it's at that number. I think he'll hit that as well. These are Rolly's picks. And then more on Adonai Mitchell touchdowns. He's been cooking for Texas. 10 to win 50 here, 20 to win 100. You can win up to 25 times your money on 6-player entries. That's a 3-player entry, so it's 5 times your money. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Use the code CLNS to download the PrizePicks app today. It's PrizePicks, daily fantasy made easy. Let's make some money together. That link will be in the comments and in the description. All right, let's put a bow on this game real quick because there is some interesting nuggets to discuss. Can we just talk about how it's kind of embarrassing for Buffalo to sneak out in this one at home, right?
Yes.
In Buffalo, and Bailey Zappe threw 3 picks. The Patriots also had a fumble, and the Bills still barely won. I'll say it right here, Rolly. I know the Bills have won 4 or 5 in a row now. The last 2 weeks, they have not looked like a Super Bowl contender. If New England played a C offensive game, they probably would have won this game.
Listen, I'm not sold on them whatsoever when it comes to the postseason. For that reason, if New England doesn't turn the ball over 4 times and give the Bills basically 3 possessions starting in the red zone, and not to mention one of the turnovers resulted in a defensive touchdown for Buffalo. So once again, your New England Patriots defense played phenomenal, limiting Josh Allen. That is not the real Josh Allen. I didn't check that, but 15 of 30, 169 yards for the quarterback.
The Jags' Josh Allen is better than the Bills' Josh Allen.
Yeah, it's just unbelievable. That
for those wondering, we have a system. It drew the wrong photo. It doesn't matter. Josh Allen, he doesn't deserve his photo on screen.
Either
for
way,
how poorly
the stats, 50% completion percentage, under 169 yards. The defense played good again. Yeah. And it sucks.
Belichick's got this group playing well defensively.
It sucks that the offense can't do anything. And listen, I know you might want to lose this game anyway, but it does blow for the defensive players to give a unbelievably good effort today against one of the better offenses in the NFL and nothing to show for it. If you take away the pick six and that's it, they obviously don't have 27 points, and obviously things would have played out differently, but it would be 21-20. And my point is in this, and I want to put a bow on this, as you said, and then we'll head out of here and hope you guys have a good New Year's Eve, is that Bailey Zappe is simply not it.
No.
He played horrifically. He didn't really have any help either. The leading receiver was Kevin Harris on a screen pass. Like, there was no one getting open. Juju obviously didn't play. Demario Douglas did some nice things, but didn't really do much. And then you have Jalen Reagor being your number 2 wide receiver. Like, it was just a disaster.
I feel the same way now. I know a 3-interception game is great. I feel the same I felt for 6 weeks now. I think he can be your backup next year.
Yeah.
That's fine. And, hey, there's value in that. He's been around. He's gotten to play a lot. You like your backup having experience. He's not the starter. Like, any thought of him being the starting quarterback moving forward, no. Like, if he has to play in a pinch, sure. But he is not a starting quarterback in the National Football League, especially having to play in cold weather. Like, he already has, like, physical limitations. It's going to be tough for someone like that to play at a high level when it's cold and windy like it was today. All right, what should Zappe's role be next year? B for backup or C for cut? Again, I think he's at least, on your offseason roster. And look, if someone pushes him and beats him out for the backup job, cool. But I know this. We ain't typing S for starter, and Rolly and I have been telling you guys that for weeks. B for backup, C for cut. What should happen with Bailey Zappe next year? All right, that's going to do it for Patriots Today. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year's Eve. Enjoy your evening. YouTube.com/Patriots Today. Share that link with a friend. We would appreciate it. Take care of each other. Don't do anything stupid tonight. We'll see you soon.